Evening, everybody. Uncle Fester here again. All right. Tonight we thought we'd just do a quick broadcast just to update you on another case, a CMS case, Child Support Agency or Child Maintenance Services, as they know. All right. Which are hounding a lot of people for arrears. Factious arrears, we call them. I'm going to bring Bully Biscuit in. All right. Me and Bully Biscuit will then bring Sandy in, our guest, and we'll have a quick chat. And you're going to be shocked because at this moment in time, the CMS, CSA are actually threatening people with prison if they don't pay their arrears or a lump sum on their arrears. And they're actually threatening to take their passports off. There's quite a few things you need to listen to tonight, all right? And remember, nobody can get away from it. All right. These CMS are hounding everybody and making up arrears. 34 million they earned between 2018 and 2019. All right. It's a business that makes money. I'm going to bring Bully Biscuit in. Bully Biscuit!
Evening, Uncle Fester. How the devil?
I'm very good. How have you been?
Lovely to see you, mate.
You need to get that hair trim, mate. You're starting to look like Ken Barber. Right, we've got Sandy coming in tonight. All right, and we'll let Sandy introduce himself. I know we've had a few mic problems with Sandy, so if the sound starts going, we'll tell Sandy to sit back a little bit and try and alter the mic. So bear with us. What's the story with Sandy, Bully?
Well, once again, it's still fictitious arrears, raises its ugly head. Arrears
Okay.
where they simply cannot explain where they've come from, or they're just plucking figures out of the air as usual. And they're threatening Sandy with prison and taking his driving license and blah, 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 the usual stuff.
Yeah.
What they always do. And basically, it's totally unconstitutional what they're doing. You know, this guy doesn't owe what they're saying he owes, and they're saying you owe it and you will pay it, but they haven't provided the evidence that he owes it, and they're threatening him with prison.
The interesting thing is, he is come under the CMS in Northern Ireland, which is a bit slightly different to the CMS in the UK, which we'll cover in a bit later on. But let's bring him on, shall we?
Indeedy. Sandy!
Sandy! Come on down! The price is right!
Not for you, it's not. Anyway, good evening, gentlemen.
Good evening.
Good evening.
How can
Put
I
that mic back. Put that mic back.
further?
Right. Sandy, introduce yourself. Give us a little bit of a rundown.
Bad separation in 2009, ripped to bits by the CSA stroke CMS ever since. 2011. Yep.
How old are your kids?
Chris is 21 and Richard is 18, 19.
So give us a rough rundown of the whole event. How it started.
Started in 2009. Cash payments after the split up. It wasn't very nice, but cash payments, which are provable by the way. Missed £10 out of a payment. CSA was involved, and from that point on, they hounded me. It was never enough. The money was never enough. They always wanted more. And in 2011, end of 2011, they went to take half my wage. A friend of mine introduced me to the editor of the Sunday Life magazine in Belfast, who took me on, and they did a double-page centre spread of the case of what was going on. They exposed everything that was going on. Come the Monday morning, the head of the CSA in Northern Ireland was on the phone, and it's a big mistake, and it was all sorted. It went on from there. I left Northern Ireland in 2012, came across, still paying CSA. Then that stopped. They sent me a letter and said, that's it, they're finishing, you're going to CMS. They contacted me, told me I was in arrears with them as well by about £2,000, and they expected that back, which they've now got.
Yeah.
And now I'm owed them CSA are hunting me for £5,700. 3 letters off them since the furlough went down. Now, they must have known I was furloughed. The first letter was a threat and a breach of their own rules, as you have told me, Mr. Craig. There was an agreement in place to pay £30 a week off the arrears, which are fictitious. And the agreement was in place until the arrears, the thing was proved.
I'm going to go back to... You never had a breakdown?
No, I've come close.
No, but you never had a breakdown of the CSA or CMS?
No. And there's, arrears in there. It was always £10 more. But then the next letter you got, the price had gone up to that. That's what you were paying. And then when my oldest boy, who came to live with me in 2017, when he came to me, the mother obviously pushed him off the scheme, got him off the list, and the price that I was then paying for my other child doubled up to what I was paying for both of them.
So the one child come to live with you.
Yes.
And then they doubled the payment up to your wife.
Yeah. They doubled the payment up so that I think it went from £63 I was paying a week, which is not. I don't mind paying for my children, but not twice. But it went from that for 2 children to £70 a week for one.
Fuck, flipping heck.
It's absolutely crazy.
How many times have you been to court?
Oh, for what?
For just, to appeal. Have you appealed?
No, I've never had the chance to appeal. I never, to be honest with you, until I met him, until I met Craig, I was none the wiser. I knew nothing about this. I knew nothing about. I thought these people were all powerful, and you did what you were told.
And that's what a lot of people are thinking.
Yeah.
So I'm a little bit shocked by the money doubled up. I'm shocked by that.
Yeah. And saying it doubled up, it stayed much the same. For one child, I think it was a couple of pound more, as it was for both of them. If you know what I mean.
Yeah, so COVID, right. Your kids are 18 and 21.
Yeah, one's at university in Aberdeen and the other one's with me now.
Brilliant.
Yeah, he's IT with the NHS now.
So how did COVID affect you?
It didn't. He's worked all the way through it. He's worked from home.
No, not your son, you.
I was furloughed for March, April, May, June, for about 5 months.
Yeah.
I was on 80% of my wage, and my partner was furloughed she was a lot longer, and she was on 80%. So we lost a good whack of our income.
Did they take that into consideration?
No. They're taking nothing into consideration. Excuse me. I'm also on a debt management plan at the moment.
Right.
Which was sent off to them at the beginning of June. When I contact you, remember, Craig, I got the number for
Stuff change.
DWP. Yeah, I contacted the DWP because I couldn't get through to the CMS, and the lady at the DWP told me to send all the stuff off. Now, stupidly enough, I didn't do it recorded delivery.
Right.
Send it by email as well. I always say that.
Yeah, you know what I'm like?
Craig. Go on, Craig. What was that?
I'm just saying, always when you've got stuff like that, ensure that you always scan it, and you've got a soft copy. That way, you can attach it to the email, and you can send them, the hard copies to the DWP, wherever you're going to send it, via registered post. But
So-
always send the emails with the documents attached to the emails, and that way they can never get away from saying they've never received it.
So, Craig, going back, it's the traceability again. Everything is traceability. Okay,
Yeah.
no problem. I'm going to switch you off because I had enough of you talking. Now I'm going to bring Sandy back in. All right, Sandy. All right, Pat.
Thank God for that.
I don't know what's going on with your phone.
You're fine at this end.
Okay.
You're absolutely. I can hear you no bother.
I tell you what I'm interested in.
Yes.
What is your arrears now?
They're saying 5,700, and they want a lump sum payment of 2,200, or they're taking me to court, putting a liability order on my house, blah 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 blah.
Right, I'm going to bring this letter. Anybody watching this now, you need to. This is what's going on with the CMS, and this is what you all need to be aware of, because at this moment in time, it's a business that makes money, and it makes millions, as we've shown in our previous videos. 34 million, Craigie, it makes. All right, and the good thing is, I've just found. Thank you to Sandy. He's just sent us a letter. We're going to share this letter. All right. So, Craigie, I've got you and me on at the moment. I don't know if can you see this letter, Craig?
I'll have to put my specs on. Look like what's his name again?
Let's see if I can get it zoomed in, buddy. So,
yeah,
this is what I'm interested in. So it's sent to Alex. All right. And this is what I'm going to read this out so people can see what it says. And I'm going to bring it on the screen. And I'm going to leave myself open. Right. Dear Mr. White, pay immediately or face legal action. Because you have not paid your child maintenance arrears, we are now taking action against you. What you need to do now, you must pay 2,216.12 pence immediately to bring your account up to date. The total amount you owe is 5,741. The amount might not include debt that you owe under previous child maintenance scheme. If you pay what you owe in full, you can stop us taking action against you. So call us immediately. Craig, that's just a threat, mate.
it is. That is actually monies were menaces, and that's a breach of Article 8 of the European Convention of Human Rights. Because they're telling him he has to pay that money, but they have not proved that he owes that money. So therefore, they're sending threatening, menacing correspondence, causing him distress, causing anyone distress who gets that. So that is a violation of Article 8 of the European Convention of Human Rights.
What we need to remember, he's on a debt management plan. And this is what gets me by a Craig. What happens if you do not pay? If you do not pay...
I've known people being sent to prison.
Yeah, but Craig, this is it. If you do not pay, we will continue with our chosen cause of enforcement action. We also start legal action against you. If we have to take legal action against you, we can charge you £50 each time we have set up an order to take deductions from your earnings. £200 each time we have set up an order to take a lump sum from your bank account. £350 every time we set up an order to take regular deductions from your bank account. £300 to apply to the court for liability order against you. A liability order lets us apply to take further action to collect the money owed. This will include seizing goods, removing your driving licence, or even sending you to prison. We can also disqualify you from holding or obtaining a passport. We
This is so
can also
draconian.
stop anyone who chooses not to pay right amount of the right of switching to a direct pay arrangement. If you not pay, we will continue to choose the enforcement action legal. Right, Craig, there's a couple of areas there. You're on debt management. All our money is just going to put you in debt further.
It is. That's exactly what it's going to do. They're making money from that. And because people who have properties, they will put charge orders against your properties and take your property.
Exactly. That's what I'm going to get next. You're going to make people homeless, take their driving licence off them. What happens if they use the van to drive or drive in?
Well, that's Sandy. That's his employment. He's a driver. So therefore, they're going to stop him from being able to earn money and then charge him even more money. No common sense at all.
Absolutely shocking. Let's bring Sandy back in, all right, and see what happens with the mic. Me and you might have to switch ourselves off. Okay? Sandy!
Yes, dear.
Did you hear what we just read out?
Yeah. I did. And I've read it a few times as well.
How are you at the moment with that, mate?
A bit of a mess.
I understand why you're a bit of a mess.
Yeah.
Because
I'm stressed.
and you know this is why we do these videos. So I'm going to bring Craig in. We're going to have a quick chat with Craig. What's your job, Andy?
I'm a Class 1 tanker driver.
Flipping out. Okay. Give me 2 seconds. Are you still on full or are you working now?
No, I've been back on full time since middle of June.
So, okay, so you're getting better.
Yeah, better than most, I think.
Are you still on debt management?
Yes, I am.
Yeah. So, what did they say to you when you said about the debt management?
Well, I sent it all off. I don't speak to them on the phone. I refuse to speak to them because they're a bunch of, well, I'll shut my mouth. I do everything by letter or by email and generally through Craig.
Have you been alienated and
Pardon?
have you been alienated by them?
I would think so.
Yeah, because we've got a lot of reports of them.
Yeah, I mean, I've tried phoning, and you just don't get through. You don't get near them. When they're on the phone, all they're interested in is, am I going to go back to the newspapers and how much am I going to pay?
Right, so...
and the other thing is, when you're on the phone with them, it's always somebody different. So you always have to spend an hour explaining everything again to somebody else. And it's just a whole mess.
Let me speak to Craig for a minute. All right, I'm gonna speak to Craig on something.
Okay.
2 seconds. I'll be back with him now. Buddy.
Yeah.
Right. So we got a guy here. All right. He drives for a living. They're on about taking his, threatening him with all that type of stuff. So where does he go next, mate?
Well, he's going to have it's formal complaint. He quite simply does not owe that money, and send him threats with taking his driving license, which would prevent him from earning any money. So they have to basically prove that he owes that money, which he doesn't. It's the old classic fraudulent arrears, false accounting, financial misconduct.
See, this is something I've just read that letter. I'm going to bring that letter up again for a minute because I've just read it. Actually, that's not the letter. The letter is by you. And it says £50 each time we have to set up an order to take deductions from earnings. And this letter is less than a week old. It's from the WDP, Department of Works and Pensions, but you know, it contradicts a few things because it says this amount might not include debt that you owe under a previous child maintenance scheme. What previous child maintenance scheme? There's only one child maintenance scheme.
That's the CSA.
So why didn't they say CSA instead of child? So they are saying he's accrued all this when he was already on child maintenance scheme because he come from Northern Ireland.
Well, it's the CSA's over in Belfast.
It's not the same.
In Belfast.
Craig, it's not the same.
No?
Read this. Northern Ireland is similar but separate system of child maintenance to the rest of the UK. This section provides an overview. So Northern Ireland is different because it's run by the Department of Communities. But he's getting it from the DWP, that letter, from a UK establishment.
Mm.
So something is... Usually if something looks shit, it smells like it, you know? So that's where I am at the moment. I've just looked at that, but I'm trying to work out why ain't they telling him? Because if the systems are together, all right, why ain't they telling him?
God knows.
Let's have Sandy back in. So Sandy.
What I tell you what I do know, I was told that all the CSA files in Northern Ireland are under lock and key now. There's only certain people can get into them. It's been, I can't remember what they called it. It's been archived. So only certain people can get into it. It's been shut down completely.
So if they can't provide you with evidence that you owe that money, then you don't owe that money, do they? Do you?
No, not at all. But I mean, going back to, you know, debts and whatever else. I mean, I spoke to you earlier on. I spoke to both of you earlier on, and I said my children were coming across every year from 2012 to 2017. Pardon?
With a chaperone.
Yeah, with a chaperone. My ex forced me to pay for a chaperone so that I could see my boys on a court order. It was costing me between £300 and £500 a time to bring my children across so that I could see them. She refused to pay any of it. I applied to the CSA every time for help. And nothing ever happened. Nothing came of it. So in a year, we reckoned about £1,600 a year that I was paying, and there was absolutely no help from anybody at all. And that was only so that I could see my children. I'd been to court God knows how many times from 2009 onwards so that I could have access to my children. And at every turn, my ex was able to twist it.
Oh,
so
not
that,
Sandy.
Yes.
Remember, you were also first forced out of your home as well.
Pardon?
You were also forced out of your home.
Oh, I was forced out of my home. I was threatened to get out of my home or things would happen to me. Northern Ireland was a nice place for that to happen. I was forced out of my home, and the eventuality was I got a bit from the value of my house, but not a lot. And that was done through the solicitors. It was, I think at the time the house was worth about 80,000, and I got, I think, about 15,000 of it. And I was threatened to be out of it and never go back in it, or I would end up different hurt, I think. But we'll not go any further on that. So I lost everything. And I started going through people, through decent people, helping me. I managed to get a flat about 200 yards away from my old house so that I could see my children every day. My ex was expecting me to leave Northern Ireland, go back to Scotland and become a gamekeeper again, which I chose not to do because my boys were more important, and they still are. My boys are my life. But this whole thing between her and them, pardon my language, but they're all a bunch of crooked bastards.
No, I agree with you.
You certainly bring out the Tourette's, don't you?
I got
Aye. Then he gets me
Sandy.
started.
Sandy, I'm going to put you on hold for a second.
You okay?
1 second. Craig, look at this. And don't forget, they're on about £50 for deduction of your earnings. Look at this document. Government website. All right?
Yeah.
Child maintenance deductions from earnings fact sheet. The fact sheet explains what happens when you ask the employer to take money from a parent's earnings or pension to pay the child maintenance. This was published on the 1st of October 2013. This was withdrawn, mate, on 28th of August 2020. The leaflet is no longer up to date. And they withdrew it. So, and I can't find a new document. Child maintenance reform.
So they're just forcing people into more debt, and that it's a property grab, mate. They're after the properties.
It's surreal, really. How they are. It's a business, and the business is they're after. You can see £50, £500 to make.
That's extortion.
The banks have been clamped down about these admin fees banks are making. When is somebody going to clamp down on CMS?
Well, the government are making money from it, so it's highly unlikely that they're going to stop that because it's money in their coffers, isn't it?
Are you going to continue to help Sandy?
Absolutely.
Good man. That's all I wanted to know. All right, Sandy.
Yes.
Thank you for sharing.
You're more than welcome. Anything I can do to help.
It's a bit shocking.
Yeah. If you need, as I said, if you need me for anything, pick up the phone.
Yeah. Well, I'm going to send you a set of earphones.
Pardon?
I'm going to send you a set of earphones.
Oh, thank you. You're so kind. As long as he doesn't get to touch them first.
Oh. So, yeah, like, Sandy, anything else you want to say?
Not that would be printable or recordable.
Okay. Sandy, I'm going to knock you down at the moment.
Okay.
Don't go too far. I want to speak to Billy quickly.
Okay.
Thank you very much.
You're more than welcome.
Love you.
And thank you.
Bully, let's have a quick chat.
We'll do that.
Okay.
Yeah. Right, Bully. I'm a bit shocked, actually, with the Arrears letter. That letter is really, really, and if people are getting that type of letter...
For money that they don't owe.
Which is...
Well, that's monies with menaces. That's
money with menaces.
That's a breach of the Malicious Communications Act 1988, I think it is, yeah.
And if more people are getting that and they're struggling already, then that's going to create people's thoughts are going to go crazy in their mental health, mate. That's going to impact them.
Clive, you know what? When they're doing this, right? What's happening is they're sending out that correspondence which is threatening and menacing, right? And that's what causes mental health problems. And when people see that they're in arrears of like £5,000, £10,000, £60,000, which we've got a guy coming on tomorrow who had £60,000 of arrears, all fictitious. That there is driving people to suicide.
And that's the fact, mate, at the end of the day.
Yeah.
I'm a little bit shocked, especially with they've never given any of these people a breakdown of the arrears.
No.
They
don't provide you with the evidence that you owe that money.
And every time they put in a court, £50 to take a deduction from your earnings, every time. £200 to take a lump sum from your bank account. £50 to regular deductions from your bank account. So every time they set up an order to take, there's only one order they should set up, really. So, questions are going to be asked, because this is just an admin fee they pay. That's an admin fee.
For their inadequate services.
I tell you what, mate, that's an admin fee. And potentially, the people, how much money do you think these CMS people are on? An hour?
Oh, I don't know. I don't think they're on a lot of money, but they do get targets to reach, and they get a bonus as well. So obviously they cut corners to get the bonuses.
Right, I've never dealt with CMS staff. I can't remember.
CSA.
Yeah, I can't remember what they were like, mate.
With lipstick, mate.
I can't remember what they were like. I never really contacted them. But what are they like these days?
Just the same. It's the same staff. There's no difference. If you're a parent with care there, or a receiving parent, then you get treated totally different. They wrap you up in cotton wool. But if you're like the NRP, the paying parent, you're a piece of shit.
And that's how they treat you.
Yeah.
So it's alienation. So you got the parent alienation, which Sandy went through, I believe.
Yeah.
All right.
Yeah.
And a lot of other guys have gone through. But then you got the alienation and discrimination from the people who are running this.
I know. And the thing is, Parliament seem to think this is acceptable. There's been complaints made about this for years and years and years. MPs ignore this. How can they possibly ignore this? This is an absolute scandal, and they know it is. And that's why they're frightened to investigate, because they know that this is a big scandal.
Well, the biggest problem you've got, Craigie, we've spoke about it. The systems are broke. There's a lot of systems broke. You've got the mental health system, which is broke, and the crisis line. They say it's great. You've got the veterans' mental health. You've got the CMS, which is broke. There's a lot of systems broke because we've undercutted and austerity cuts, and it goes back to
the CMS is not down to austerity. This thing is making money for the government, and they just do. They're not bothered. They've given draconian powers, and they're just not interested.
Craig, what you got to understand with austerity, they'll make cuts somewhere, and they'll make money somewhere else, and they will punish people somewhere else. All right. The only people who any MPs gone through the CMS had difficulties with the CMS we know of.
I think there will be a few. There will be a few.
So what's going on with them? Why ain't they coming on board and talking about it? Or do they get treated differently?
They're told to shut up on them.
Yeah, a bit like gagging order, like the military gag. There's gagging orders in place with the military. I've seen it because I've had the gagging order myself. So
in the military, they would be roasted for coming forward, speaking out about this. So they've got to really just suck it up and wear it.
Well, going back to Tony, absolutely brilliant when he come on, but what a risk he was taking.
Absolutely, brave lad.
Right, Craigie. On that note, I love you.
Love you too, man.
Bully Biscuit. So you got to look after yourself. All right.
Yep.
Sandy was absolutely brilliant, mate. Shocking. That letter shocking. I want people to actually take on board this letter. I want people to take on board how serious this is, because potentially
it's a breach of human rights, mate. Article 8 of the Human Rights Act, Article 8 of the European Convention of Human Rights, and Article 7 of the Charter of Fundamental Rights.
Yeah, but Craig, it's worse. It's worse than that.
Of course it is.
You've got a man there who was furlonged. He was put in furlong. All due respects, he's on a debt management plan.
Yeah,
there's no way he's got £2,216.
No, of course not. They're also in breach of the Equality Act as well.
Yeah, but Craig, Equality Act. But what I'm going to say to you is, they say you know, they only take 60%. They're only allowed to take 40% off you.
Take a lot more than that, though. We've seen this.
And this is proof. No, but this is proof, Craig. Yeah. This is proof.
I know.
We're in a situation of uncertainty. People haven't got money today. We're living. I keep saying to people, you're one paycheck away from being homeless. With this, it's disgusting.
Oh, it is. So, it's shocking, man. We're supposed to live in a democratic and civilized society.
So what should we do next, mate? What should we actually? Where do you want to go with this?
Well, we definitely need an inquest.
Right, everybody watching this video, I really want you all to come on board with us and you know, jug some thoughts down, because I was getting to a stage where I got fed up with doing these videos, because, you know, I'm trying to get the women on, I'm trying to get different aspects from different views from other people, and it's a lot of arrears, man. I'm seeing a lot of people on arrears, and they haven't got a clue why the arrears, because they're not getting breakdowns. I think I could actually put the breakdowns in place, but I'm not going to say them on you about Sandy. I know where some of the breakdowns are coming from. If I was going to do a breakdown, I could justify it, but it's down to CMS to justify it. You know,
well, they just say you owe that money, and they do not give you the evidence. You say, "Give me the evidence," and they just ignore you, and then they still steamroll over everything and say, "Right, we're taking enforcement action against you." As soon as you start challenging the arrears, they become militant and say, "Kind of like, how dare you challenge us?"
Craig, the government owe millions across the world. The government run a debt management plan at the end of the day, because they're not AAA graded anymore. They've dropped in their grade, all right, because they owe millions and
billions,
yeah, trillions. But what you see going on here is just, it's wrong, absolutely wrong.
Tax. This is a tax, stealth tax.
We're enslaved, mate.
Yeah, exactly.
So. Right, let's get our heads together. Let's work with Sandy, see where we can go next with this, because we need to get an MP on. We need MPs on you. We need to start asking them questions. We put the invite out. None of them have taken to the invite. So,
well, we pulled out, didn't he?
He's pulled out, and I haven't had a response. Have you had a response?
No.
So, what's going on, you know? We voted them, we elected them in, but this is wrong. Everybody needs to come together and start raising questions. You know, as Sandy said, if everybody we've had on here, none of them have run away from their responsibility.
No, so the CMS, CSA always go after those who are paying. They're not bothered about the ones who are difficult targets. They will always go after the low-hanging fruit, as in the guys on private arrangements, on pay as you earn. Everyone who's willing to pay for their children, they target those people. They don't go after the deadbeats. It's too much hard work. And apart from that, they got targets to reach, and they get bonuses. So
but Craig,
that's why they're doing this.
Craig, you've just said the word deadbeats. They treat anybody who broke up in a relationship and left their children as deadbeats. Everybody's tarred with the same brush.
Yeah, I know that.
And that's the saddest thing, because what we're doing, we're actually judging people.
Yeah.
And it's wrong.
Wait until you speak with Tony. He's got something very interesting to tell you.
Okay. I'll catch up with Tony.
Tony O'Neill, the fireman Sam.
Yeah, we need to get Fireman Sam back on, actually, just to see how it's going. Let's arrange that. Let's have a talk after this. I'm going to say goodnight to everybody. What do you want to say, Bully Biscuit?
Love you.
I love you. I changed your name as well, by the way.
I know, I could see that. I changed it back to Craig Bullman, but you put it back as Bully Biscuit. That's shocking.
You're lucky I didn't put something else in there. I didn't realise I had control of that.
Are you sure you do work for the CMS? Huh?
I'm on a bonus scheme with them, actually. I love you, but I'll catch you after.
Love you, man.
And look, I'm sorry about that broadcast, everybody. Just bear with us. because we are going to have some glitches every now and again. We're not perfect. It's not a perfect world we live in. All right. So, Bully, good night to you.
Good night. God bless.
Love you,
Love you,
bud.
bud.